1408 is a psychological horror film based off the Stephen King short story of the same name. The film follows a hack writer who visits haunted hotels. When he arrives in room 1408 of the Dolphin Hotel, he slowly realizes this hotel might actually be haunted. The film stars John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, and is directed by Mikael Håfström. Hey guys, and welcome back to Garage Stephen-King-a-thon, where every day, for the month of October, we revisit a Stephen King adaptation. Today we're talking about 1408, which in my opinion is one of the better Stephen King adaptations. This movie came out, and I don't remember it being that big a thing, but I was pretty young at the time, and I feel like as time goes on, people start to remember this movie more and more fondly. I remember I watched this movie when it came out in cinemas. I didn't watch it in cinemas, I just watched it when it came out in cinemas. I'm not admitting to anything in this video. But I watched it with my family, and it was a good time, I remember it. So, this movie starts off, we're introduced to John Cusack, and John Cusack, he started off as this really good novelist. He would make romantic stories, and that wasn't really paying the bills, so he resorted to writing some hack books. Top 10 haunted mansions, top 10 haunted lighthouses. Very reminiscent of the YouTube game, where you have to make a clickbaity title in order for people to view your videos. This guy has to do very clickbaity novels in order to capture people's attention, and his heart is not really into it because most of the hotels and haunted rooms he visits aren't actually haunted. In his opinion, they're all a bunch of fairy tales. Well, not this hotel that's run by Samuel L. Jackson. As a matter of fact, this one is very much haunted. John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, two very good performers. I love them in this movie, albeit Samuel L. Jackson is good in this movie, but he's a little underutilized in my opinion. But I'm a little biased because I love Samuel L. Jackson. So when John Cusack's character arrives in the hotel room, all of a sudden, it becomes a classic style haunted house movie. And I like that. It really felt like a genre that's not really done nowadays. It reminded me a lot of Evil Dead, more precisely Evil Dead 2, because it's John Cusack in a hotel room, running around, and this hotel room is basically just trolling him, throwing a ton of creepy shit at him, and he's just reacting to it. At many points in this movie, I felt like John Cusack's performance was reminiscent of Bruce Campbell's performance in the Evil Dead movies. It's borderline goofy, but it's also very terrifying. And this room goes through so many phases. It goes from being extremely hot to extremely cold, and there's floods and yada yada yada. This guy, poor guy, can't catch a break. One moment I especially liked in this is John Cusack opens the window of his hotel room and tries waving across to the neighboring building, trying to get someone's attention, only to realize that the gentleman in the building across from his is actually his reflection.
Oh! Can you see me? Yeah! The Dolphin Hotel! Call the police! Help! Help!
A lot of cool, neat little scenes like that, and it really worked well in this film. The editing is very fast-paced in this movie, but it actually works in this because it gives you a sense of disorientation. Also, this may be just in my head, but when we're first introduced to the hotel room, John Cusack takes the audience on a tour and he shows where each room is located. And as the film progresses, you feel like the layout of the hotel room changes as the film progresses, adding to that disorientation. While it's easy to pass this movie for basically John Cusack in a haunted house, the script is actually pretty solid in this. First of all, the script has zero fat to it. Zero fat. No filler. What is there is there. And it really felt good to watch a horror movie like that, because so many times horror movies, they'll have dialogue scenes that drag and drag and drag, and this didn't have this. What I liked about this movie, and the reason why I say it had zero fat, is because every piece of information is given to you once. We find out halfway through the movie that John Cusack's kid actually died of cancer. He feels a lot of regret because he said that she's going to go to heaven, and he feels like he put some false information in her head, some false beliefs before she passed away, and he has a lot of regret for that. But that scene isn't told until halfway through the movie, and it's never repeated. It's just told through one sequence where John Cusack is watching the TV and he sees his daughter. They never repeat the information to you, which I really appreciated. Usually one of these movies, they'll have John Cusack encounter his kid in the hotel room, then it'll cut to a flashback to 20 years ago, and you're watching the flashback. Then you cut to the present day and you're rewatching everything you saw in the flashback, and you're just like, okay, I get it. This is what I mean. The script, zero fat. Everything is told to you one time. The film also has a lot of clever foreshadows. When Samuel Jackson is explaining the past deaths of this hotel room to John Cusack, well, John Cusack, later on in the film, gets haunted by the things Samuel Jackson warned him about. Samuel Jackson warned him about a man who ripped his own eyeballs out, and when John Cusack is crawling through a vent, he gets chased around by a guy with no eyes.
No. I can't help you.
Which you can assume is the guy that Samuel Jackson was talking about. Samuel Jackson's character also talks about people drowning in the hotel room and people jumping off the ledge in the hotel room. All stuff that nearly happened to John Cusack's character. So it's easy to dismiss this movie for a simple haunted house movie. If it is that, it does it very effectively. I also see it as a movie that, sure, it's a simple haunted house premise, but it has a very strong structure, and it doesn't waste any time. And there's a subversion that happens during this movie where we think that he's in the clear, that he escaped the hotel room, only to discover that it was all in his head, and he's actually remaining in the hotel room. I thought that actually worked. I didn't see that coming the first time I watched it, which, looking back at it now, it seems a little obvious that no way this guy got away scot-free the way he did. But the first time I watched it, I didn't know they were going to go down that route. I thought they were going to go for the shitty Hollywood ending. So I liked everything about this movie. It's a very well-made movie. It's a fun movie. Guys, I'm not going to tell you what to show your kids or not, but I remember watching this as a younger fellow, and I thought this was a very fun movie. I suggest you guys do the same with your kids. Grow some hair on their chests. And guys, tune in. More Stephen King adaptation reviews coming up.